Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Meeting itself is at 11 a.m. and I guess we will start getting the important decisions before market closes, so that will be very crucial.
I think this is also very important what our colleague Timsi is putting out, that the public sector banks, okay, they are likely to show a poor advance tax payouts, but I think overall for the banks, the advance tax payout is going to be very poor this time, especially for Axis and
no, we are just waiting for
as well.
I think we will be putting out those flashes shortly. And it looks like, banking stocks, banks are not going to pay enough. We're just going to wait. Some flashes will be coming your way, just getting done. Okay, let's get to another important company, JSPL. They have successfully closed their 1,200 crore QIP recently. Naushad Akhtar Ansari, the CEO, steel business at JSPL, is joining us on the phone line. Good morning, Mr. Ansari. First, to begin with, can you give us a sense of how you will utilize the QIP funds, and will there be any need for further capital requirement?
First, I would like to share with you this the entire QIP process, which, so we were looking for something close to about 900 to 1,000 crores, and simply because of the very strong response and very positive response from the investors, we decided to go for 1,200 crores because we are getting the reasonably good price. So this was quite a bit of success, and now this money is obviously going to be utilized for our working capital. Majority of it is going to go for working capital. Part of it will also be used for payment of debts and so on and things like that, but as I said, majority is going to be for working capital. And so that's the way it's going to be.
Okay, Mr. Ansari, good morning. Now that the QIP is done, what about the listing of the Oman business?
So, that's something which is in the process. It does take a little bit of time. We are also waiting for the right time to do that in that market. So that is going to take a little more time. It's not going to happen immediately. It might take maybe about 6-8 months down the road. That's the way it's going to happen. But the work has already started.
And how are things shaping up at Angul? What was the production ramp up in December, and what can we expect in March?
So therefore, compared to what we produced in December, in the month of March, we will be producing about 70% more than that, somewhere close to about 185,000 tons. So that's the number which is there. We are well on the path of ramping up. We are, a plant like this, as we had mentioned earlier also, it takes about 6 to 7 months to ramp up to 80-85% capacity. And that's where, that's how we are doing well. So in the next 3-4 months, we should be somewhere close to about 80-85%.
Okay. Can you also help us a little bit with what your sales volume guidance is for the next year, for FY19?
So in the month of March, we are kind of exiting close to about a run rate of 6 million ton, close to that, a little less than that, but close to about 6 million ton. And in the year 2019, FY 2019, in India, we expect to do more than 7 million ton. Let's say close to about 7 million ton. And in Oman, we will be doing close to about 2 million ton. So altogether, we should be having a production level of 9 million ton between India and Oman.
Okay, and what about power business? What is the PLF level now, and any PPAs that you are likely to sign?
So PPA remains an issue, but the bigger issue is obviously the coal availability for the power plant business, and that's something which, like all other power producers, we are also struggling with. So, we are looking at all possibilities of even importing coal and so on, looking at the viability and so on. But nothing seems to be a very easy answer to this problem. So, and also the PPA also are hardly any new PPAs are forthcoming. Going forward, we do expect, we are already seeing the signs that the spot prices are going up. And once the spot prices go up, we would also expect that some states would come forward with the PPAs and so on, and then we will be looking at, with full interest. So, but then to answer your question, is there any definitive program? It's nothing really easy to answer that. We don't have any.
Okay. Is the deal that you signed with JSW Energy still on?
So So it remains as a status quo. There have been some, we are still hoping that the deal will go through. We are, but there are obviously certain CPs which were to be done, and those CPs have not been fulfilled. So we would see. I mean, if there is still 3 more months to go, we'll see how it really plays out. But as of now, it remains, status quo remains.
Okay, status quo remains. Can you also tell us a little bit about what the debt reduction plans are? Currently, you're sitting on a very high debt of almost 43,000 crores.
So it is already, as of now, we are somewhere close to about 43,000 kind of debt which is there. And going forward, we do expect to generate sufficient EBITDA to start reducing this even beyond what is the repayment expected. In 2019, as I mentioned, that there are obviously some capex requirement which is there. And despite meeting those capex requirements, we do expect some certain reduction to take place. But in 2020, obviously, major reduction should take place. So between these 2 years, which is our expectation that, we can reduce this debt by about 6,000 to 8,000 crores.
All right. We will leave it at that. That is very, very positive for your investors, the debt reduction plan. Of course, still very negative or still not too much hope on the power front. That's the word coming in from JSPL after their QIP, which got very good response. Let's get to a CNBC TV exclusive, and that's what we are flashing for you on the screen. Our colleague learned from sources that public sector banks have paid very poor advance taxes in the fourth quarter. Timsi Jaipuria was the one who has got us these details, and she joins us on the phone line. Tell us, Timsi, what did you get from your CBDT sources?
Yes, as you rightly mentioned, sources say that the public sector banks have paid very poor advance tax in the fourth quarter. The advance tax collections from the banks have slipped drastically in the fourth quarter. And this is not just public sector banks, but also private sector banks. CBDT, in the meanwhile, has asked banks to explain the decline in this advance tax payment. Say, for example, SBI. SBI has paid only 600 crores, where SBI had paid around 1,400 to 1,500 crores in the previous quarter, that is quarter 3. Similarly, PNB, which is also amongst the worst hit, it has paid only 100 to 200 crores of advance tax in the fourth quarter, as against 400 crores or something that it paid in third quarter. Apart from that, Axis Bank is also, which is worst hit in the fourth quarter when it comes to the advance tax payments, which reflects that the profits are going to be really, really poor. That Axis Bank has paid about nil tax in the fourth quarter, which is a major fallout for the CBDT. Similarly, ICICI Bank has also paid a very less advance tax payment.
Timsi, can you
repeat?
Just 1 second. You're saying Axis has paid zero advance tax? That would be big, because that could mean that there would be...
There's no profit.
No profit for the quarter.
Can you confirm Axis is nil?
Yes, Axis is nil. That's what the sources are telling us as of now. And HDFC is the only bank which has paid advance tax more than what it had paid in the last quarter. So HDFC amongst one of the healthy payments that is coming to the direct tax sector. Apart from that, the decline in advance tax collection is also likely to hit the tax targets, because banks are amongst the highest taxpayer paying sector for the direct tax division, and CBDT is expecting to meet only the BE, which was about 9.8 lakh crore rupees, and the revised target of 10.05 is tough. However, they are inching towards a little above the BE targets. Let's see what happens in the last 3 days. That is tomorrow, beginning tomorrow, when CBDT has specially issued a circular that they will remain, their offices will remain open for the next 3 days despite being holidays, because it's the year-end.
All right,
I'll keep you posted on that.
Thank you very much, Timsi. We will want to hear more from you tomorrow. But, you know, this was an I wouldn't say this is a complete shock, because the extent to which recognition has been forced by the February 12th circular could mean that banks like Axis may not post profit. See, for ICICI, there is ICICI Securities money coming in, which makes a difference. Axis doesn't have that kind of money. They only have capital coming in from Bain. So there will be a problem. They could do one thing. They could bring down their provisioning from whatever 60-65% overall to maybe 58-57 and show a very minor profit, which was not worth paying tax at all. Or they could show a loss. I mean, it's a management decision. Do we take all the pain in this quarter? Do we distribute the pain over 2 quarters? Because technically they can go even to June 30th quarter. RBI has given 6 months for the large accounts to be resolved or recognized. So they could do either.
So,
but,
so basically either they'll report a minor profit or they could report a large loss as well.
They could report a loss as well.
They could report a loss as well, just to take a, as they call it, take the bath in just 1 quarter. And,
exactly. It's quite possible because, the Credit Suisse estimates were that their NPAs will increase by about 5 percentage points or 4.5 percentage points. They stood at 5.8, it could go to 10. So if you provide that much and you provide it, 50% of it, or for NCLT cases, you have to provide 50%, then chances are that you can show red this year itself. I mean, I don't know why the CBDT should ask the banks, question the banks about not paying taxes. They only have to watch CNBC TV 18. We have been telling you from perhaps February 13th that a large number of public sector banks and the corporate-facing banks will have to recognize a lot. ICICI Bank perhaps is paying tax, and I think even that, Timsi said, is a very small tax. She said it's a poor advance tax payment. Maybe they could pay because they have other money coming in. But clearly, I think that there's also a positive on SBI and PNB. SBI has paid 600 crore. SBI also gets a little bit of recognition, but they've done most of the recognition. I think it increases by about 2 or 3 percentage points. So I would take this news as actually positive for SBI. And of course, for Axis, it's a management discretion on when they will take the hit.